I thought starting my dream job was perfect, until my new boss, my fiancé's vengeful ex, began sabotaging my work and wedding. Now she won't stop. I was 28 when everything fell apart. My name is Emily Carter, and I just landed the job of my dreams at Brightwood Events, the premier wedding planner in New York City. I'd spent years coordinating small charity galas and corporate mixers, dreaming of orchestrating grand weddings. And now, here I was, managing the high-profile schedule of summer ceremonies at New York's most glamorous venues. I should have been elated. Instead, dread gnawed at my stomach each morning. My fiancé, Lucas Bennett, a charming architect with sandy hair and easy confidence, had surprised me the night before by dropping to one knee at our favorite rooftop bar. With the city skyline glittering behind him, he promised me forever, slipping a slender sapphire ring on my finger. I'd never been happier, until the next Monday, when I reported to my new office and met my boss, Olivia Marshall, Lucas's college girlfriend and the very woman who'd broken his heart 8 years ago. Brightwood's headquarters was a sleek loft near Union Square. I'd arrived early, blazer crisp, portfolio ready. The founder, Margaret Chen, greeted me warmly and introduced me to the team. Then Margaret called out, "Olivia, come meet our newest event manager." Olivia glided forward, tall, impeccably styled, exuding cool professionalism. Her dark hair fell in perfect waves, and her ice-blue eyes appraised me with polite interest. "Emily, welcome aboard," Olivia said, her voice smooth as champagne. She extended a hand. "I've heard great things." Her handshake was firm, her gaze unwavering. As our hands met, a jolt of recognition passed through me. She'd been Lucas's girlfriend during his sophomore year at Columbia, the one who'd left him for a year in Europe, only to return and break off engagement via email. Lucas never spoke ill of her, but his heartbreak had been raw. I forced a smile. "Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. Margaret," Olivia continued. "Emily will handle the July weddings at the Plaza and the High Line. I'll brief her on the vendor list." I followed Olivia into the conference room, trying to steady my breathing. She flipped through a binder. "Here are the confirmed clients. We have 3 weddings this month, all big budgets and exacting families." She looked up, eyes cold. "I trust you can manage the White Winthrop event on the 12th? I nodded. "Absolutely. I've already reviewed the contracts." She closed the binder. "Great. We'll meet tomorrow with the caterer and florist. I expect you to be prepared." She paused, then added, "And Emily, Lucas has mentioned you. I hope you can live up to his many compliments." Her tone was polite, but edged with something sharper. Competition, perhaps? I left the room unsettled. Olivia knew Lucas, and I was sure she recognized me, but I refused to let their history derail my career or our wedding plans. First signs of sabotage. That very afternoon, I received a panicked call from the Plaza's events coordinator. "Emily, the linens you requested for the White Winthrop wedding aren't available. The rental house went out of stock on Ivory Damask." I checked my email. No notice from our usual vendor. I scrambled for alternatives, calling every rental house in Manhattan. None could guarantee delivery by Saturday, 3 days before the wedding. I felt sweat bead on my forehead. Margaret noticed my distress. "What's wrong?" she asked as I returned to her office. I explained. She frowned, picking up her phone. "Olivia?" Margaret held out the handset. "Emily will explain." I recounted the linen fiasco. Olivia listened in silence, then said, "I'll handle it." She returned to her desk, typing rapidly. 15 minutes later, she slid a vendor quote across the desk. Another rental, with matching linens. Same price, free delivery. "I confirmed availability myself," she said. "Consider it sorted." I exhaled relief. "Thank you, Olivia." She nodded, eyes distant. Later, I discovered via email that Olivia's replacement vendor had charged Brightwood 30% more than our usual supplier, an unnecessary cost that Margaret would notice. Olivia's quick help had quietly undermined me, wedding planning and personal strain. Meanwhile, Lucas and I were knee-deep in our own wedding plans. Guest lists, cake tastings, seating charts. We'd chosen a September date at a historic estate out on the Hudson. aiming for an intimate ceremony among fall colors. Lucas was designing the arch for our vows. I was finalizing decor with Margaret's team. Everything felt perfect, until my phone kept buzzing with warnings. One morning, I opened my laptop to find a Google alert, Emily Carter plus scandal. A link led to a gossip blog titled, Wedding Planner Drama. New hire causes chaos at Brightwood. I clicked. An anonymous tipster claimed I'd botched a bridal shower at the Gramercy Park Hotel, misplacing the bride's grandmother's table card. I'd never worked that event. Panic seized me. I raced to the office. Margaret's eyebrows shot up. "Scandal?" she asked. I showed her the blog. She scoffed. "That's baseless. Someone's trying to smear you." She paused, looking at Olivia, who was pretending to focus on spreadsheets. I felt the accusation in Margaret's gaze. "I'll address it," Margaret said. Outside Olivia's office, I confronted her. "Did you do this?" I asked, voice tight. She looked up, feigning innocence. "I have no idea what you're talking about." I clenched my jaw. "You're discrediting me." Olivia's lips curved. "Look, Emily, in this business, reputations can make or break. You best be careful." I stormed away, heart pounding. My dream job felt like a minefield, and my wedding couldn't wait. How could I trust Olivia, or even Lucas's reassurances, when his past kept colliding with my future? Collision course. 2 days before the White Winthrop wedding, I discovered a worse betrayal. The florist canceled on me. Their order form and deposit had vanished. I'd paid in full. Panic rose like bile. I called the florist's head office. They'd never heard of the booking. I dug through emails. The confirmation was gone. Only a single message from Olivia remained. "Order placed. See me if there's an issue." I marched to her office. "Why did you delete my florist booking?" I demanded. She sighed, leaning back. "There was a problem with the vendor's license. I advised you to switch to my backup, Tulip and Vine." I checked my notes. No mention of license. "I would have known," I said. "I double-checked everything." She shrugged. "It's a high-stakes wedding. I thought you could use help." But help that cost $2,000 more than our original florist, and came with wilted stock. In the end, the ceremony flowers arrived lifeless and overpriced. The bride's mother stormed in, furious. My boss's kind assistants had sabotaged me again. At night, I cried on Lucas's shoulder. "She's out to get me." He stroked my hair. "I'll talk to her." He tried, but Olivia stonewalled him. "Your wife can handle her job or not." Lucas returned, defeated. "She's not listening," he admitted. Update 1. The morning after the florist debacle, I arrived at Brightwood Events determined to reclaim control. My head throbbed from stress, but I squared my shoulders and marched into Margaret's office. "I need to fix this," I said. "The White Winthrop wedding can't be a disaster." Margaret, sympathetic but firm, tapped her pen. "I believe in you, Emily. I'll back you, but you'll have to salvage this with minimal damage." I nodded. "I'll start with the next event, and I need a plan to counter Olivia's interference. Discovering patterns." At my desk, I pulled up our shared calendar and vendor logs. Every time I'd arranged a vendor, linens, flowers, rentals, Olivia had corrected me with alternate suppliers at higher costs or lateness. I needed proof of her meddling. I downloaded our email chain and cross-referenced it with meeting minutes. Sure enough, every change bore timestamps immediately after Olivia's recommendations. The florist cancellation was logged within seconds of her approval email. The linen glitch followed her vendor briefing. I compiled a spreadsheet showing cost increases, scheduling delays, and poorly rated backups, all linked to Olivia's interventions, enlisting an ally. I reached out to Javier Reyes, Brightwood's veteran logistics coordinator, discreetly. We met for coffee in the break room. "Javier, I need your help," I whispered, sliding him the spreadsheet. "Can you confirm these backup vendors actually charged us more or failed to deliver?" He skimmed the data, brow furrowed. "These numbers don't lie. Olivia's backups cost 20 to 30% more and deliver 40% later. He nodded. I'll pull the invoices and delivery logs. We'll have solid evidence. Relief washed over me. With Margaret's support and Javier's data, I could approach Margaret with a formal report and perhaps force Olivia to back down. The Grandview Engagement Gala. That weekend, Brightwood hosted the Grandview Engagement Gala, a showcase for a new luxury venue. My role: coordinate vendors, manage event flow, and ensure the company's reputation soared. Olivia oversaw overall operations, and it was her chance to shine. As I synchronized with the caterer in the ballroom, I noticed Olivia hovering. She glanced at my notes, then called, "Emily, the champagne provider changed. Use Chateau Luxe." I stared at my printed contract. No such change existed. "But the signed agreement is with Imperial Bubbles," I said. "Oh, that one's out of stock," she replied coolly. "Chateau Luxe has better reviews." I felt the old dread spark, but this time I refused. Margaret approved Imperial Bubbles. They guaranteed delivery. I held up my copy. Olivia's eyes narrowed. "Fine. Use Imperial." I exhaled and returned to work. Behind me, I heard Olivia's low murmur, "Watch me lose face," exposing the truth. After the gala's smooth conclusion, impeccable service, delighted guests, glowing media coverage, I seized my moment. In Margaret's office, I laid out the compiled invoices, time-stamped logs, and email threads. Margaret reviewed the packet, her expression shifting from curiosity to concern. "This is substantial," I continued. "Every misstep I've had was orchestrated. She's sabotaging me to undermine my credibility, and possibly to prevent me planning Lucas's wedding." My voice cracked. "She knows about us." Margaret leaned back, exhaling. "I'll call her in." Minutes later, Margaret summoned Olivia. The three of us sat in tense silence. Margaret opened the report. "Olivia, these documents show you repeatedly overrode Emily's vendor choices at higher cost and lower quality. Care to explain?" Olivia's practiced composure flickered. She inhaled. "I was protecting the company's interests. Some of Emily's vendors lacked vetting." Margaret frowned. "But your backups weren't vetted either. Their failures nearly jeopardized 2 events. And these changes cost us thousands more." Olivia's jaw tightened. "Emily's decisions were risky. I stepped in to cover liability." Margaret's voice sharpened. "Not on my watch. We value collaboration, not covert interference." Effective immediately, Emily will have final say on vendor selection for her assigned events. You'll CC her on any suggested changes 2 days in advance. Understood?" Olivia sat rigid, then nodded stiffly. "Understood." As she left, Margaret turned to me. "You've earned my trust and proven your worth. I'm sorry you had to endure this." Tears of relief pricked my eyes. "Thank you." Regaining confidence. With Olivia's interference officially curtailed, I plunged into planning the next 2 weddings, an Art Deco-themed soiree at the Seaport and a garden ceremony in Brooklyn Botanic. I rebooked original vendors, confirming in writing and CCing Margaret and Javier. Each morning, I reviewed logistics with Javier, who provided data on cost savings and punctuality. We even negotiated a discount from Imperial Bubbles for the gala, a small victory signaling a new era of trust, personal reprieve with Lucas. Amid the professional turmoil, Lucas was my rock. One evening, he surprised me with dinner at our favorite Italian bistro. Over pasta and red wine, he squeezed my hand. "I'm so proud of you," he said softly. "You stood up to her and won." I smiled, leaning in. "I couldn't have done it without you." Lucas grinned, eyes shining. "Now let's focus on our wedding plans together." I felt the tension ease. For the first time since Olivia's arrival, I could believe in a smooth path forward. Olivia's subtle retaliation. But old habits die hard. Despite the new directives, I discovered a fresh complication. Olivia had quietly reassigned my office assistant, Claire Mills, who'd been helping me draft floor plans and checklists, to a rotating admin role. Claire's cheerful presence and quick turnaround were essential. Without her, I risked chaos. I found Claire sorting mail in a cubby. "What happened?" I asked. She shrugged, voice small. She said I needed more broad experience. I felt Olivia's shadow in her words. Without Claire, I'd struggle. This was Olivia's last card, undermining my support staff to hamper my efficiency, reinforcing my team. Determined, I approached Margaret again. "I need Claire back on my team," I explained. "She's vital to meet our standards." Margaret nodded. "I agree. I'll return her immediately." Sure enough, the next morning, Claire reappeared at my desk, apologetic but relieved. "Thank you," I said, hugging her. "I couldn't do this without you." Pivotal pre-wedding trial. With my team restored and vendor authority secured, only one major wedding remained before my own. The Hudson Estate Garden wedding for the Millers. A family worth $10 plus million. Their every whim was legendary. If I could triumph here, I could face Olivia's ex. I spent 2 days executing flawless vendor coordination. The florist arrived early, the tent was perfectly aligned over peony beds, and the caterer set a tasting menu I approved personally. I triple-checked lighting, seating, and musical cues. On event day, the estate glowed with sunset hues. Guests flowed smoothly. Servers glided between tables, and the ceremony unfolded without a hitch. As I watched the bride descend the rose-lined aisle, I felt a surge of pride and vindication. Margaret approached, beaming. "That was masterful, Emily." I exhaled, smiling. "Thank you." In the wings, Claire and Javier exchanged high fives. Our small team had prevailed over Olivia's sabotage. With Olivia's official power curtailed, her informal attempts now mostly crumbled under scrutiny. Though she still sat in the corner office, her influence over my work was minimal. I'd reclaimed my role. Update 2. The day after the flawless Hudson Estate wedding, I finally dared to exhale. My fiancé Lucas and I celebrated with a quiet dinner at home. Just the two of us, a bottle of wine, and dreams of September's ceremony. But Olivia's resentment simmered beneath the surface, waiting to strike where it hurt most. Olivia's personal coup. That Monday, I arrived with a final bridal meeting scheduled in my calendar. Emily and Lucas, venue walkthrough. I looked forward to guiding our own wedding, but the conference room was unexpectedly locked. When I inquired at the front desk, the receptionist shrugged. Olivia booked it for a vendor meeting. I walked down the hall to Olivia's office. Through the frosted glass, I saw her and a man I didn't recognize. A slim figure in a sharp suit, his name tag reading, Michael Archer, head of VIP affairs. I knocked softly. Olivia opened the door, forcing a smile. "Emily, perfect timing," she said. "Michael here will handle your personal venue tour." My heart sank. "You reserved my meeting?" She nodded. "You've done so well professionally, but perhaps you need a break planning your own." Her tone dripped with false concern. I fought rising irritation. "My wedding is my business. I'd appreciate it if you freed up the room." Olivia's lips curved. "I'm sure Michael can accommodate you elsewhere. The rooftop lounge is lovely." My vision blurred. She was hijacking my own wedding planning, stealing the one thing that belonged solely to me and Lucas. I clenched my fists. "No. I'll wait here until you cancel." She sighed dramatically and tapped her phone. "Fine. First come, first served. I'll reschedule." She stalked out, leaving me alone. I sank into the conference room chair, fury coiling in my gut at Olivia's continued petty sabotage. Lucas steps in. I texted Lucas. "Olivia just tried to hijack our wedding planning meeting. I'm done." He arrived within the hour, angry eyes framed by moonlight through the office windows. Together we marched to Margaret's office. Lucas rapped at the door. When Margaret opened, she saw our flushed faces. "What is it?" she asked. I explained, and Lucas added, "This is personal, not professional. She's targeting our relationship." Margaret's jaw tightened. "That's it. Olivia's crossed the line. I'll put her on indefinite leave for conflict of interest." I exhaled. relief, mingling with guilt. Was Olivia truly that jealous of my engagement? Or was something darker at play? New allegations surface. No sooner had Olivia been removed from our projects than a new crisis erupted. The next morning, my email pinged with an anonymous note. Engagement party location compromised. Check the deposit records. The attachment, a screenshot of my transaction receipt showing a double charge, twice the deposit I'd paid for the Hudson River Marriott Lodge. Lucas and I had budgeted carefully. This mistake would cost us an extra $5,000 we didn't have. I pounded on Olivia's old office. It was empty. Who could have sent this? I checked the receipt in my inbox. It matched the vendor's normal charge, but the venue manager insisted they'd only received the standard deposit. I rushed to the Marriott's event office. They pulled up my booking and confirmed only one payment, at the correct amount. The extra charge was a phantom, a manipulated digital image. Someone wanted me to think I'd mismanaged funds again, unmasking the saboteur. Back at Brightwood, I pored over security footage. Only 2 people accessed my email station overnight: Claire, my assistant, and Michael Archer, the VIP affairs guy Olivia had brought in. Claire looked overwhelmed, apologizing and distraught as I questioned her. Michael, however, was savvy with computers. He'd been observed near the terminals during off hours. I forwarded the footage and email headers to Javier, who analyzed the IP addresses. They traced back to Michael's workstation. Armed with proof, I and Margaret called Michael in. Under questioning, he stammered. I was pressured by someone to create this email. A favor. Margaret stared. By whom? He hesitated, lips pale. Olivia told me you needed a wake-up call. My blood turned to ice. Olivia's vengeful reach still gripped our wedding, corrupting trusted staff. But now we had evidence. Final confrontation. That evening, Olivia arrived at my home unexpectedly, knocking on my front door. Lucas opened, and I joined him in the foyer. She stood there, drenched from a sudden rain, mascara running. I didn't want to end like this, she began. You and Lucas deserved better. I crossed my arms. Why are you doing this, Olivia? She hesitated, eyes flicking to Lucas's ring. I thought maybe he'd come back to me. Instead, he chose you and his family life. I wanted to remind him who he lost. I felt a pang of pity and anger. You nearly destroyed my career and wedding. You used staff as pawns, spread lies, and stole my time. Tears mixed with rain on her cheeks. I never meant to hurt Grandma and Dad's memory. I thought if I could break you, he'd regret losing me. Lucas stepped forward. Olivia, he's never going back. We have a future to build. Together. She looked at him, then back at me. Shame crowded her features. I'm sorry, Emily. I met her gaze. Your apology comes late. I hope you find peace beyond this vendetta. She turned and walked away into the night, shoulders slumped, reaffirming our vows. With Olivia and Michael gone, I set out to repair the damage. Claire, now bulletproof supported, backed up every email and file. Javier helped me restore budgets. Margaret publicly commended my leadership, restoring my reputation. Lucas and I moved our engagement party to Terrace View Gardens, a smaller, trusted venue. Friends and family celebrated under lantern-lit oaks. We laughed, promised each other forever, and let go of the winter's fears. I looked at Lucas, love shining in his eyes. We did it. He kissed me. Together. Update 3. The weeks leading up to our wedding buzzed with final details: cake tastings, dress fittings, rehearsal dinners. After Olivia's last outburst and the malicious fake charge, I felt a fragile confidence. With Claire and Javier backing me and Margaret's full support, I focused on crafting the perfect day for Lucas and me, and for everyone who believed in us. The rehearsal dinner mishap. Our rehearsal dinner was set for Thursday night at Riverside Terrace, an elegant loft overlooking the East River. Close family and friends were invited: Grandma Evelyn, Lucas's parents, and my college roommate Sasha Nguyen, who'd flown in from Los Angeles. The mood was festive, as we greeted guests under twinkling lights and clinking glasses. Halfway through the welcome speech, the caterer's manager burst in, face pale. "I'm so sorry. Someone switched the champagne for sparkling cider." He held 2 bottles. One labeled Belle Epoque, the other just cider. Guests murmured in confusion. My heart sank. I knew immediately who was behind it. Olivia's revenge. One last small sting. I excused myself and pulled Sasha aside. "Can you help me?" I whispered. She nodded, eyes fierce. I rushed to the back kitchen, where the unopened Belle Epoque shipment sat under a tarp, protected, thanks to Claire's foresight in hiding it. I grabbed the bottles and marched out, announcing into the microphone, "Please enjoy the real champagne courtesy of Riverside. I hear someone tried to pull a prank." Laughter rippled through the crowd as I uncorked the Belle Epoque and passed flutes around. Lucas found me afterward, pulling me into a hug. "You saved it," he said, relief in his voice. I nodded tightly. No one's ruining our night. The wedding day countdown. Friday dawned clear and crisp, perfect weather for our Saturday ceremony at Hudson Manor Estate. My bridesmaids arrived early: Sasha, Maya Patel, and Jenna Brooks. As they sipped mimosas and slipped into dusty rose gowns, I felt a warm buzz of anticipation. Claire arrived with a final checklist: flowers delivered at 8 a.m., DJ arrival at 9, catering crew by 11. I reviewed each item, ticking off boxes. The only thing left: escort cards. She handed me a tray of elegant calligraphed names. I smiled. No one would confuse or misplace them after Olivia's meddling. They should sure. The morning storm. At 10 a.m., dark clouds rolled over the estate. I watched from the bridal suite as staff scrambled to erect backup tents. Our outdoor ceremony beneath the old oak looked like it might become a soggy affair. I texted Lucas. "Rain. Backup tents." He replied instantly, "We'll make it beautiful." Rain on a wedding day, they said, brought good luck. I held Sasha's hand. Let's hope. The ceremony, with unexpected guests. By noon, the rain had eased to a drizzle. Guests huddled under cream-colored tents, overlooking the manicured lawn. I peered through the veil and saw Grandpa Harold Bennett, steadying Grandma Evelyn as she took her seat. Suddenly, a black SUV rolled up, its tinted windows and chrome wheels out of place among vintage decor. The door opened, and Olivia stepped out, wrapped in a sleek trench coat, cane in hand. She smiled, cold and triumphant, as she strode toward the ceremony space. My breath caught. How did she know the weather delay would bring everything under cover? And why come now, to humiliate me? Before she could approach, Lucas stood at the end of the aisle, staring at her. He excused himself from our officiant and motioned to the groomsmen. Cyrus, having flown in to support us, intercepted Olivia before she reached the front. "Olivia," Cyrus said quietly but firmly, standing between her and the ceremony, "this is not about you. Leave." She tilted her head. I just wanted to see the look on her face when she thought I ruined her big day. Cyrus's jaw clenched. "You're done. Go home." She hesitated, then turned and stalked back to her SUV. The air hummed with tension as Cyrus ensured she left the grounds. I exhaled, stepping forward. "You're too a glute." Lucas took my hand. "She won't touch us again." Vows beneath the oak. With Olivia gone, calm returned. The officiant, our dear friend Reverend Marisol Vega, smiled warmly. "Let us begin." I walked down the aisle, heart pounding yet certain. Lucas stood beneath the oak, leaves still glistening. Our eyes met, and the world narrowed to just us. He spoke first. "Emily, you are my compass and my home. Through storms and sunshine you've shown me grace and strength. I vow to stand by you, in love and laughter, every day of our lives." Tears blurred my vision as I repeated my vows. "Lucas, you give me unwavering support and tender courage. I vow to honor you, to cherish our home, and to face life's challenges hand in hand." When we kissed, applause rose like thunder. Despite storms, literal and figurative, our love held firm. Reception and final test. The reception in the ballroom glittered. Chandeliers, rose centerpieces, live jazz trio. My dress swept the floor as I entered with Lucas, and guests cheered. All night, laughter and dancing soared. But just before the cake cutting, I noticed a waiter tip his tray precariously. I froze. The tiered cake stood on a thin silver stand. If he slipped, catastrophe. I darted forward, steadying the waiter and the cake. The guests gasped, then cheered relief. I looked to the corner where Michael Archer, Olivia's accomplice, hovered, satisfaction in his eyes. Security escorted him out, summoned by Cyrus's watchful friends. Lucas found me, concern in his gaze. "You okay?" I nodded, adrenaline still pumping. "Yes, nothing's stopping us now." A perfect ending. We cut the cake. Strawberry shortcake tiers topped with lavender sprigs, and fed each other a bite. The DJ spun our first dance, At Last, by Etta James. Lucas dipped me beneath the sparkle lights. I felt weightless, as if all sabotage had finally washed away. Surrounded by loved ones. Grandma Evelyn teary with joy. Cyrus beaming in his best man's suit. Claire and Javier applauding. I knew we'd triumphed. We danced into the night, every stolen moment of sabotage rendered meaningless by our unwavering love. Update 4. The moon hung low over the skyline as the last guests trickled out of the ballroom. Our wedding day, marred by sabotage attempts and near disasters, had ended in perfect brilliance. Now, in the soft afterglow, Lucas and I stood on the balcony, overlooking the city lights, hands intertwined, quiet after the storm. Lucas sighed, gaze sweeping across Manhattan's silhouette. We made it. I leaned into him. Nothing could stop us, together. He kissed my temple. Thank you for fighting for us. I smiled, reflecting on every battle. Olivia's professional sabotage, fake charges, venue hijack, and Michael's meddling. Each setback had tested my resolve and our bond, but we'd emerged stronger. A message from Olivia. As we prepared to leave, my phone buzzed with a single text from an unrecognized number. I'm sorry for everything. I hope one day you can forgive me. Oh, I showed Lucas. He squeezed my hand. Closure? I hesitated, then replied. I forgive you. Goodbye. Moments later, a reply pinged. Thank you. No further messages. It was the ending Olivia needed. And deserved. Finalizing the community gift. 2 days later, Cyrus, Lucas, and I gathered at Grandma Evelyn's house to plan a wedding year anniversary fund in our name, an annual grant from the Winfield Carter Community Hub to support underprivileged couples ceremonies. We signed documents forming the nonprofit, each of us pledging time, resources, and funds. Grandma watched proudly. Your father would have loved this. Cyrus grinned. It's our way of giving back. I wrapped my arm around Grandma's shoulders. Your home and our family are safe for generations, tying up loose ends. Back at Brightwood Events, Margaret hosted a small celebration in my honor. She presented me with a plaque. Emily Carter, Brightwood's Resilient Event Manager 2025. Colleagues offered congratulations. Even Olivia's former team members toasted me, acknowledging my leadership. Margaret raised her glass. To Emily, who turned every challenge into triumph. I felt tears of joy. This was the professional vindication I'd fought for, proving I could excel despite personal vendettas. Honeymoon plans. That night, Lucas and I packed for our honeymoon in Santorini, a dream escape from the chaos. He zipped my suitcase. No sabotage in Greece, he joked. I laughed, kissing him. Just sun, sea, and you. A lasting legacy. Before our flight, we visited Grandma one last time. She handed me a wrapped gift. Carter's wedding photo, taken under the same oak where we'd wed. His smile radiated love and promise. Keep this, Grandma said. And remember, love builds stronger than any storm. I pressed the photo to my heart. Always. The beginning of forever. On the plane, I looked at Lucas. The jets hum a lullaby. I reflected on our journey. professional sabotage by my boss, personal attacks before our wedding, and the strength of family and community that saw us through. I thought of Grandma's unwavering faith, Cyrus's redemption, and Margaret's support. Our love had been tested and had won. As the Aegean waters appeared below, I turned to Lucas. "Ready for our happily ever after?" He smiled, eyes alight. "Always." Emily's triumph shows that love and perseverance can overcome any betrayal, even from those closest to us. When adversity tests your bond, will you stand firm or walk away? Share your story of overcoming workplace drama and personal conflicts. I read every comment.